Hi, kitty cats. It is time for another Tuesday Tidbits, and I have a few juicy thoughts for tonight, at least in my opinion. So first, I was looking at photos of myself since transitioning gender, and I noticed a very big change. Like outside of, the whole gender transition, that is, because that was fairly big. But now I look like I'm actually willing to be in a picture, and that's kind of fun. Next, I want to talk a little bit about my hypnosis practice. It seems like I could use a Facebook account, but Meta, has horrible hate speech policies, right? I already left Meta. Well, I tried to go back, and they rejected me twice. So I'll talk about that. And then finally, I want to talk a little bit about gender-affirming surgery, not the actual surgery itself, but what it means in the workplace. We may want to downplay what we're doing, but it is medical, and we deserve every workplace benefit that we've earned. So stick around. I have some thought-provoking topics tonight, and I'd love to hear your input on them like you do. So let me see. I'm gonna hit this. All right, here's my normal opening plugs here. I'm going to start off by saying, first of all, hello to Ildiko. And Margie is here. Happy Tuesday from Wednesday. Yeah, it's always fascinating, You always seem like you're coming from the future. And then here's Anita Lichtenberg as well. Good to see you as well. So here are my opening plugs. I'm Dr. Amethysta Herrick. I am both an author and a podcaster, and I discuss identity and gender from a scientific standpoint oftentimes. You can check this link below for more information about me and the work that I do. My website, as you can see, is purpleparkland.com. And if you go there, you can find a page that's all about me, my who I am and what I do. You can also follow me on all the social media networks that I'm on, like all three of them, as well as read the articles that I write and view my podcasts and my other videos that I publish as well. So if you like this content, please consider subscribing. You can do that, again, purpleparkland.com. You can get a subscription for as low as $5 a month. I also will publish articles and podcasts by other contributors. So if you're interested and you have original work about identity and gender, reach out to me. You can email me, once again, same website there, purpleparkland.com/contact. There's a contact page. You can send me an email. Love to hear everything that you have to say to the world about identity and gender. All right, let me see this. So Margie says this is the land of previews, and then Anita follows it up with premonitions. Yeah, there's no way to know, right? Is it a preview or was it a premonition? The international date line is pretty fascinating. How does that happen? It's almost like the Earth is round, and I know there are some people out there going, no, it's untrue. It's true. I'm sorry. I hate to break the news to you. I know you have a whole identity built up around this, but hey, if you're going to tell me I'm wrong with this identity that I have, I'm willing to say that to you. So anyway, I want to talk first. This is my first little tidbit. So self-image and gender transition, like in general. First, I'm going to start just in general. So it's probably no surprise. Like if you know somebody is transgender, if you watch any of the content that I've made, it probably comes as no surprise that self-image plays a role in gender. Even if you've, like we all have, read Judith Butler's book, Gender Trouble, or the other couple of books that they've published on the topic. At least in my theory of gender, we choose to express ourselves in certain ways. But those choices are driven by what we already know about ourselves. And then there's a negotiation with our social environment, etc. So there are some choices involved here, but they come from what we know about ourselves inside. So let me check these comments for a second, because I'm going to go through like from when I was a child, okay? Okay, it's going to be interesting. Brenda says her old book says it's flat. The Earth, apparently. when I took a class in high school, so this was, it was like the late Jurassic period and era, I don't know. And so it was a Bible as literature course. And it was actually a fascinating course. I actually got a lot out of it because, I was able to read a book and we were able to look at it, as literature. So point here is that when we talked about early Hebrew ideas of I guess the cosmos, right? Cosmology, the idea was that you had like their land and then they had some sea, right? And that looked blue. So then they looked up at the sky and went, oh, it's blue. Well, we must have a bowl on top of us with more water. And it makes some sense because, Jehovah, I know I don't say that very well, at least in Hebrew, that God is believed to have been a sea god, an early sea god. So anyway, there you go, a lot of water in there, which also brings up why, fish was kind of a big thing, although it was in the Piscean age when all this happened. Anyway, I'm going to move on to this. What else do we have? The IDL 3 times on the way here. I never expected to, wait, 3 times to get to New Zealand. I never expected to take a flight across 4 dates. Margie, I would never have expected that either. Isn't that crazy? Anita, I think, has a phenomenal comment here. If the earth were flat, cats would have pushed everything off it already. I know, right? There is actually, I wish I could remember the name of the game. I think it's just I'm a Cat. I think it's called. And, oh my gosh, Comrade Julie is here. Hello, Comrade Julie. It's been a while since I've seen you in any live. Anyway, point here is that it's called I'm a Cat, and your whole purpose is to walk on mantles and knock shit off. I was like, I might have to buy this just for fun. All right, so here we go. Let me go back to the point here. Self-image. So when I was a kid, like I'm an armadillo now or something, when I was just a young little girl, I didn't want anybody to look at me, which is a pretty typical, transgender experience as well. I hated photographs anyway. I want to be in them. And that was pretty much the way it went all the way through high school. Okay, so I'm like 18 years old and I'm like, just don't take a picture of me. I don't want anybody to be near me taking pictures, yada, yada. And then I became an undergraduate, right? I go to college. And in college, there are actually some photos where I seem kind of comfortable. But interestingly, in college, now I've let my hair grow out. So, my hair ended up being pretty long and my hair gets, has a natural curl to it. When I don't bleach it and then put purple on it. It's got a natural pretty curl to it, and it was Southern Californian, so I got all the California like gold highlights in my hair. It was really beautiful, actually. So I had my hair. I don't even remember why I did this, but I used to wear nail polish on my toes. And it became like a thing. I want to say somebody did it when I passed out at a party once, but that may be a fake story. Like I may have made up that story just saying, I'm going to get some nail polish and paint my toenails. So I was expressing some femininity is the point. And I can kind of understand why I might have been more comfortable doing that. So then I get to graduate school. And I've told everybody, who's seen even one video of mine knows very well. I went to graduate school and I was able to throw myself into my femininity, right? I'm doing, what we're calling drag shows, I suppose. It's very different from what it is now, for what it's worth. I was dressing up every weekend, or more, and going out. So I'm much more comfortable with myself and actually have photos. I'm trying to think, I've shared them with a few people, but I actually have photos where I have completely expressed who I am. Not even just my feminine side, but even, to a certain extent when I was still presenting masculine. Because like at this point now I've got, now my hair is long, right? it's dyed black. I ended up getting it waist length and all. It was pretty sweet. And, I was wearing jewelry and I was wearing makeup. So it was very gothic was the point. But I was in these photos, I look much more comfortable, just with myself. I can be in these photos and I look actually comfortable. And it makes some sense, right? When we express who we are, we're willing to have that image saved for posterity. It's not a real surprise here. I don't think anybody's going to be like, wait, what a revelation. So Margie says she wore nail polish on her toes when she worked in a machine shop. Yeah, but you were probably wearing steel-toed boots, right? So I was in San Diego for my undergraduate, and there used to be these sandals, sorry, wrong word for it. And they came from Tijuana. So Tijuana is directly, it was maybe from the campus, maybe 45-minute drive. It's probably 2.5 hours now because it's California, right? So it's changed. But so TJ was right below us. And so these shoes they were made in Tijuana and they were called flow hose. And it was, they were it was like little X things. Anyway, they were super cool. When I was in high school, this is what all the surfers wore. And I got black ones. I always wore black ones. But here was the point. My toes were always out. And so anywhere I walked on campus, people would go, oh, hey, what's with the toenail polish? And I'd be like, somebody did it to me once and I just can't stop doing it. It was total bullshit. It was so bullshit. I was wearing toenail polish because I wanted to, but there you go. Oh, there's Saoirse. Hi, Saoirse. Good to see you. Wait, what are you saying, Margie? For her birthday party in 2014. Oh, this was like the last century. I know it wasn't. So it was the future in past tense. And she went in disco drag. Oh my gosh. That's already saying something there. Yeah, right. Somebody did it. So Margie says, somebody did it to me and I omitted that the somebody was me. Truth. Anyway, so there I was in graduate school. I felt good about myself, right? But then I go into my career. So I started off, I'd cut all my hair. Well, not all my hair. I cut my hair and I think maybe I'd gone about 6 months before my manager was like, oh, you used to have long hair. Why did you cut it? And I said, because I figured I couldn't wear it here. And he goes, go ahead and wear it. So I grew my hair back out. There's probably pictures of me with like this sort of Prince Valiant look. It was pretty crazy. So early in my career, I'm slipping out of the comfort. My hair's still longish, dyed black, dyed blue black still. In some of the pictures that we've got, I'm probably wearing like a Marilyn Manson shirt because, that was it. It was closer to who I am. But I would also say that, I'm starting to close it down some. Once I get maybe 10 years into my career, now I'm like in management, trying to do some sort of leadership. So I'm trying to be respectable. And pictures from that time, I just look miserable. Just miserable. After my son was born, I tried to be totally normal. So now I've cut my hair again. I got rid of all the hair dye. And I'm just going to say flat out, like it was awful. It was really awful. Pictures from that period, like I can see I don't want to be in the pictures. It was like I went back to being, 8 years old or whatever. I didn't want to be in the pictures because the person being photographed was really not who I was. No matter how hard I really wanted to try to make it be who I was. Now I was thinking about this. Because many of where did I put this? Oh, all right. Well, here we go. Anyway, I thought I made notes that were a little different, which is kind of strange. Anyway, and I wrote these notes. Like you'd figure I would know what the hell I wrote, but it's a big no. Anyway, many of these photos have something in common. And I can see that the less comfortable I am with my expression, with my outward expression, the more likely I was to be making one of two faces, just one of two faces. One was an obviously fake smile, which looked kind of like this. It was terrible. Oh, come to Jesus sent me a gift. Thank you so much, my friend. Anyway, one was a really fake smile or like an obviously goofy face, where it was pretty much the idea that I'm like, you're going to take a picture of me, so you're going to get a picture of me like this. Both of those were masks, right? It's trying to hide the person who can't be expressed. So it was me trying to do anything to feel vaguely comfortable. I bring all of this up. I gave you this whole history, 10 minutes of history or something. I don't know how long. Because I was thinking about this, looking at photos all through gender transition. So all through my transition. First of all, an interesting point here. I would guess that there are more photos of myself from the last 3 years than the previous 52. Because I tried to ditch photos, for 52 years. And then once I start transition, I'm like, ooh, hey girl, hey, woo, selfies on everything, right? But here's a strange trend. Very early in, I look like I'm super happy. Like first 3 months, maybe 4 months. And when I really, so I started in July, early July, so probably till maybe November. And it was like October or so that I started like voice training and other things like this. Once I really had to lean into social transition, I can see the photos change a bit. Because I started making some goofy faces again. And it's interesting, there's a Discord server I'm in where, oftentimes people will post some selfies. And I think I see this same sort of behavior, there we go, that's the word, from other transgender women. Now I'm going to return to that. I don't want to go off on that just yet. But once I'd completed social transition, so now I'm completely presenting as a woman, and this would have been like March of 2023, all of my photos look happy again. Like all of a sudden I look comfortable, and it's an interesting little thing. And of course, today, I'm in like 5 videos a week. So like, obviously my face is going through a lot of emotions and a lot of it is on camera. So, now that I've gotten to this point, I think I can sort of explain some of what I've observed. Before I get there, let me actually, so Archie's laughing at Prince Valiant. Do you remember what he had? He had like the little, I didn't have bangs, but it was like maybe ear length for because I'm growing it out. It's so hard to grow out hair. I've done it like 4 times in my life, and because it's like, oh, this will be so much better, and then I'll look at myself and go, oh, what the hell happened to me? Oh, I better grow my hair back out. So Anita says there was one party when she was 21. Sorry, I think my apologies, Anita, where they were in a girl outfit. Wait, so you loved it then, but you never dared to do it again. Fascinating. All right. So Margie says, come into term. Oh yeah, see, so I'm unsure. I'm unsure if I, because obviously the autistic spectrum, covers a lot of this. ADHD is basically neurodiverse. Neurodiversity covers some of this, where the idea of us masking, and Margie's bringing up she masked and masked and masked. Looking back, the cost of that denial is spectacular. It hurt so badly not to be who we are. And then Margie goes on to say that gender dysphoria, her gender dysphoria was masked even by abuse. Which is, again, I think very, very common for the transgender community. I've seen this over and over. I do love this too, because then Margie says, I increased my selfie rate by a factor of about a skillion upon transition. So, I think I'm older than you significantly, Margie. Because some of the pictures, like the pictures when I was in graduate school, were taken on a, do you remember those Kodak disc cameras? Do you remember those? So that's the kind of camera that I had there. So All right, so what's my take on this? Why am I thinking about this? I believe, and I'm only going to talk about myself. Like I'm, there's no way I want to say this is entirely general. These are observations I've made about myself. Maybe you'll listen to this and go, "Oh yeah, that totally you 100%, yeah, captures me." So Margie, okay, I'm only a year older than you are, so it's not quite half an orbit. But so here's my takeaway: when I feel uncomfortable, and this could be for whatever reason, when I feel uncomfortable, I gotta hide who I am with a fake expression, my fake smile, or a goofy one. But I was surprised by goofy photos like some few months into transition. And I had to think about this. I wrote in my journal about this. And I think, for what it's worth, I think I was trying to convince myself that I wasn't pretty, wasn't going to be pretty, or even worse, they didn't deserve to be pretty. That I didn't want somebody to take a picture of my face and then look back 10 years later and go, fuck, I was never going to look good. I think in some way, especially during, the some months where I was making some goofy faces during transition, I wanted to mar my looks when I was seeing myself for the first time in decades. I wanted to mar what I looked like. And even then the funny thing was, like, that wasn't transition, right? That was, a few months. It wasn't transition, it was transient. Oh well. I thought I had some fun with that. Today you can see I'm wholly comfortable, and I make faces that I believe are happy. I love to laugh when I'm talking to people. I love to laugh. Do I still make funny faces? Sometimes, sure, but those are intended to be funny. I'm not trying to hide the person that I am today, and that was that little Tuesday tidbit. I really think that that I went through some period where I needed to try to make sure that I didn't see the person that I knew I was inside, that I was becoming on the outside. So let me take to some comments here. So first of all, I see Melissa joined. I am glad you caught me again too. I'm glad to see you, Melissa. I hope you've been well. Oh, and Tracy just joined too. Hey, Tracy. So let's see. Wait, Anita, you'll be the matron. I thought we were all about the same age. There we go. So Jewish Epstein, interesting, has a question. I'd love to hear your question. Go ahead and drop it in the comments there. I'd love to see it. So Margie says, I didn't deserve to be pretty. That breaks my heart. I'm so beautiful. Oh, thank you. There are definitely times when, I wake up and I look in the mirror and I go, what the hell happened? Anyway, does I feedback on this? I mean, it was really interesting to see all of the photos that were like good. I don't want to say good, but that were like positive, and then some of them negative, and it's been really fascinating to see that. And I only wanted to talk about it because, like I said, it was like, it was going up, and then suddenly I took this dip, and then it went back. So if you're seeing that in reverse motion, I don't. Plus, I did it with my left hand. Who even knows what that was? It was a graph, but we're gonna have to run with it. Jen just joined too. Hi, Jen. Good to see you. And Patty G. Hello. You're a crack up on Sunday. Anyway, that's my little tidbit. Self-image and gender transition. I really, truly believe that, and looking back on this now, I truly believe that we should always be able to express who we are, so that we're comfortable when people are forcing us to appear in a photograph or something. So anyway, that's my tidbit. If you have comments on it, I'd love to see them in the, in the comment stream, as that's the word for it, huh? All right, so let me see, I want to talk about Meta. There we go. Yeah, let's talk about Meta for a moment. after I rejected Meta, I think what happened is, turnabout ends up being fair play. So presumably everybody knows, but I started a hypnosis practice. So I became a certified hypnotist in June. Yeah, June. Actually, I've got to take a picture of this and put it on social media. I just got my little certificate. It's sitting right there where you can't see it. I get that. But I got like my certificate, and I've got like a membership card. That membership card ought to come in really handy. I'm confident of that. I'll be like, whenever I need to, member of the press or something, I'll just be like, Amethysta Herrick, certified hypnotist. And they'll be like, hey, you go right on. And I'll be like, yeah, that's right. Mr. President, I have a question for you. Why are you such a douchebag? What? I've got a hypnotist card. Oh, damn, they're taking me out. All right. Anyway, starting up a hypnosis practice. Wait a minute. Let me look at this. So here's something from Anita. So an interesting tidbit from their experience. Early in transition, they could not look at old photos where they were presenting masculine. I still struggle, for what it's worth. But this is fascinating because Anita goes on to say that now they're okay with it again, and they see themselves in them more than ever. You're doing better than I am. I don't know. I was just sort of scrolling through photos. Well, no, like Google every so often. Like Google will say, hey, do you remember this 8 years ago or something? And if it's greater than 3, I just go, nope. I don't remember that at all. Anyway, for some reason, I was like, oh, yeah, let me look at this. And it was a picture of me. It's probably, I don't know, 6 or 8 years ago now. I'm not even really sure. But I looked at it and I just went, oh! And I stopped for like 10 seconds just going, holy cats, who in the, oh my gosh. I can't even, it was like a train wreck. I can't look away, Finally I did. Or like a Kramer, right? I'm horrified and yet I cannot look away. All right, anyway, here we go. Coming back to this. Sorry, Meta. So turnabout's fair play with Meta. So I'm starting up my hypnosis practice. It's a further offering around the identity guidance that I've done now for about 1.5 years or so. And what was cool, actually, is that I originally interviewed my teacher, my hypnosis teacher, on my podcast. I think it was about mid-24. I want to say it was actually before I went to Thailand, so maybe even earlier in the year. But I got to find this wanker who's. Yeah, well, I don't have to. Anyway, here's the point. He was really super happy when I took his course. Because as he put it, he said this to me when we were recording the podcast. Oh, I do, Melissa. Yeah, that's still on. It's still on the if you go to that website down there, purplepockland.com. I don't have a search function on it yet. I'll do it, I swear, someday. But if you go back, there's total of like 15 pages worth of things, but I think, Dean would probably be maybe 3 or 4 pages back. So yes, that podcast is still there. My teacher's name was Dean Benninghoven, and so you'll see that in the title. You'll see it in the title. So anyway, starting up this new hypnosis practice, my teacher was super happy that I took this class because there is a tremendous dearth of queer hypnotists, apparently specifically transgender. So it seems to me like a field just ripe with opportunity, right? I mean, it seems like it would be easy. But especially because if you look at some of the like the educational materials, some of the opinions, some of the way things are expressed, it's kind of clear that these were written by sort of privileged white men, at least like 50 years ago. All right. All right. Some stuff goes back to like 100 years ago, easily. So anyway, after I finished the course, my teacher put me on his website, which is kind of cool. Like I said to Melissa, that's Dean Benninghoven. His company is called Summit Hypnosis. It's in Tacoma, Washington. So if you're in the general area, drop by, get a trance. But I'm on that website on the Meet the Hypnotists page, I think it was. You know, I felt like it was, oh, hey, Ash Rue is here. Hello. I feel like it was, I don't even know. Anyway, he wants to promote me. It's super cool. So he reaches out. He goes, hey, do you have a Facebook account? He says he regularly finds psychotherapists on Facebook looking for specifically, well, for queer, but typically specifically transgender hypnotists. But you may recall, I killed my Meta accounts. It was like the beginning of the year. I mean, it's been like 6 or 8 months due to their changes in hate speech policies. And, oh my gosh, Ash is here too. Ash Rue and also Ash. Hello, Ash. I hope you're doing well. I've been a little worried about you recently. I wish I could send you a message, but I can't. So anyway, so I'm just going to say that flat out. I've been kind of worried about you, and I hope you're doing all right. So in case you've forgotten what the changes to the meta hate speech policies entailed, some of those policies, it makes it okay, first of all, to call gender diverse people mentally ill. Just flat out, that's fine now. There were some others. I kind of remember it was okay to call people of color gardening tools. Like that actually was okay. It was okay to call women property and to make other misogynistic comments. And at the end of it, as you know, Margie said, meta sucks. Yeah. I thought it seemed worth? No, that is what I was trying to say. It seemed worth getting out of it when I saw those changes in hate speech policy, because it's just like, really? Like what? And the thing is, they were trying to pull that, the crap that says that, well, it's free speech. And I did a live stream, gosh, it must have been 6 months ago now, that free speech does not mean hate speech. It means that our government will not, our Congress in particular, Congress will make no laws that abridge your right to express your opinion, especially to assemble peaceably and redress grievances to the government. That is so different from what you're saying, Meta. You're so wrong. So anyway, which by the way, Margie then says, when you were attacked in 2023 by right-wing media, Meta were the most useless at protecting. Yeah, wait, Reddit was better. Okay, I'm going to tell you. That's sort of a surprise. I'll tell you. Hey, Miss Chief, good to see you. Oh my gosh, it must be late where you are. Oh, no, it isn't. Always Working 1776 says, I have Democrat hair. Do you want to hear something fascinating? Always Working 1776. I was a registered Republican until 22 years old, so 4 or 5 years. And then I started registering independent. To this day, I have been registered independent the whole time. You want to associate a look with an opinion, and you want to associate that opinion in a way that you can hate me without hearing a single word I'm saying. I have no idea what good that's doing you, but let me just tell you, all you're doing is making yourself unhappy. So here's the point with Meta. If I'm trying to build a business, and I am, or improve my business more, I figured maybe I should I'll go ahead and make a Facebook account, right? I'm like, I'll bite the bullet. I don't want to be here, but we'll see what happens. I'll try to make this Facebook account, a new Facebook account, solely to connect with people who are looking for a transgender hypnotist. Oh my gosh, look, Gin and Toxic is here. Hi. I also see Christine Fimble. Hello, my gosh. All kinds of good people coming and showing up today. So I try to make this Facebook account, okay? Right off the bat, so I put my name in there. My name's flagged, and it says flat out. It says your name has been flagged as a violation of our I don't know how they put it, as of our community policies. Oh, Gin and Toxic says hello. I hope you have a good stream. So far, so good. I hope. Hopefully, I've had a couple of laughs, but. So flagged as a violation of the community policies. No, I have seen this before. All right, here's the point. My name is Amethysta, right? And this has happened absolutely in video games in a few places, all right? Um, from letters 2 through 5, I guess, is meth, right? Amethysta has meth in it. And I've had video games that say, no, you can't use that. Sorry, I can't use that. I'm like, it's my name. It's my name. What's wrong with that? Typically, if I change it to Amy, AMI, it'll go, yeah, that's cool. That's totally fine. So I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. I put in Amethyst. Meta went, oh, you're not going to use something with meth in it. But a fascinating thing, there's no way to talk to Meta. They're just like, look, we're going to review your account. In fact, it says, hey, thanks for making an account. We're reviewing it. You violate our community policies. We're going to review it. Check back in an hour. And I was like, is there any recourse here? Like, what the hell? So about an hour later, I get an email. And it says, sorry, it doesn't even say sorry. It just says, yeah, we found that your name violates our community policies. They disabled my account and I can't even log in with those credentials. I'm like, okay. I went, well, that's because I did have an account. But that account, I changed the name. So I thought, okay, well, crazier things have happened, right? So I'm like, if it's the name, I'll just change it, right? I'll use Amy. I'm fine with that. I'll use Amy. So I did. And then it says, sorry, your email address violates our community policies. Okay, I'll use my phone number. That is fine. So I make the account and immediately they go, it's the same thing. We're flagging your account because it seems like it violates community policies. You can wait an hour and we'll let you know. And an hour later I get a text, right? Because I can't use an email address. Now I'm using the phone number. Get a text. We've reviewed your account and we've disabled it entirely. Go away. And I'm like, wow. So I got to tell you, I have no idea what is wrong with either of those two accounts. And the funniest thing is there is like no way to contact Facebook to find out. In part because you have to be logged in if you want support. And you have to pay for something too. If you have like a business account, which was kind of what I was going to do. But you have to be logged in if you're going to in order to get support. Now I do actually still have a Meta account because I have one of those Quest 2 things, that make your eyes sweat out of your head so that I can play Beat Saber. Right? That's you do have to play Beat Saber in this day and age. So maybe I could use that to get a Facebook account. But at this point, like, honestly, I'm willing to stay away. I'm like, Dean, just send them a link to your website and they can contact me from there. I don't care for Meta. I don't care for their hate speech policies. And Meta has now clearly shown me they don't like me either. They don't want me back. So there you go. Yeah, Melissa, see, you play Beat Saber too? That is the most fun. I'm going to tell you, the ones that I buy, it's always, hey, Ava. The ones that I buy, like the song packs, sorry, I'm going to geek out on Beat Saber for a moment. Like the Lady Gaga song pack was amazing. Totally loved it. And actually really super, I wasn't sure if I wanted to buy this. And then I did. I bought the Britney Spears. I'm 55, folks. I'm telling you. I went ahead and bought the Britney Spears song pack for Beat Saber, and it was pretty good. I think there's some really fun stuff on it. I want to say like I bought a Lindsey Sterling thing, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't even know. But Melissa says, have I tried synth writers? So I do have it. For some reason, it feels different to me. Like the whole idea of just like trying to catch balls and stuff was, I don't know. It is similar and I like it, but for some reason I'm just like, why am I so bad at this? I'm not phenomenal at Beat Saber, but a lot better than that. So, all right, let me see what else we got here. So Jewish Epstein said that they lost Wi-Fi. That's a bummer. So I don't know if Jewish Epstein's gonna drop that question in the comments or not, but Always Working 1776 says that it was not an insult to say that I have Democrat hair. Okay. I mean, I don't know where it was supposed to go, so, it's fine. Whatever. I like this. Anita says a former colleague of theirs had the last name Dahl, and he was routinely flagged by Facebook. I assume that their real last name. I mean, because I gotta imagine there are people like that. So I don't know. Yeah, Melissa in Beat Saber. Sorry, geeking out again. This, I think that just like the standard packs, there's a word for them. I can't think of what it was. BST or anyway, whatever it is. The song packs that they release on a regular basis are pretty good. Like even the first song pack that they released was pretty good. But then there was one that had oh, what is that one? It's a Fat Boy, yeah, Fat Boy Slim. I think this is the Funk Soul Brother one. Somebody remind me. It was Chunkaphonic Punk, or I don't know what the hell it was called. I can't think of what it was called. Does somebody know? There's like the anyway, Fat Boy Slim. I think that is so much fun. Oh my gosh, I love that so badly. So much. I love that one. Anyway, there you go. And it was a freebie, right? Pretty sweet. All right, let me see. So Anita says yes, Dahl was his real last name, and everybody in his family had trouble getting an account on Facebook. Yeah, I'm not sure what the issue would be either. Like, who cares? Yeah, the Funk Soul Brother one is definitely Fatboy Slim, but there's a different name for it. Funkadelic something, or I don't know. Somebody look it up. Anyway, I'm a little bit bummed that I got to keep a Meta account just so that I could log in for the sake of like dancing along to Funk Soul Brother. But there it is. So, all right. Anyway, that was that. My Meta thing. There was one more thing. Oh, I think that's it, Margie. I think you got it. Rockefeller Skank is what I think it's called. That was pretty stunning. Like, I think you're right. Rockefeller. I think it's Rockefeller or Skank. Wow, dig you. All right. So here's a point here. So I do want to talk a little bit about gender-affirming surgery in the workplace. Just so you know, I'm not going to talk about the surgery itself. I'm saying this at the beginning because I understand some people are triggered by the idea of gender-affirming surgery. And if that is you, I totally understand. I'm not going to talk about the surgery itself. I do have a client who is in the process of trying to schedule bottom surgery. And if you've had to do this, you end up like talking to 4 bajillion people, and all of them seem absolutely the same. So then you're like, well, where do I go? What do I do? With her, I've just kind of been like, you know what? Roll it, die. I mean, honestly, who can get you in soonest? That's about the thing. Anyway, the point is she's scheduling it. And one of the things that you have to understand, it could be anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks of recovery. It depends on the type of surgery that you're going to get. Mine was quicker because I didn't end up getting a canal. But this person is looking at getting a canal with the peritoneal pull-through method. And this is the longest recovery time in surgery because not only have they done something down below, but there's also laparoscopic incisions to harvest some tissue. So anyway, she's also in the technology industry, which if you've been in that, it's very fast-paced. And so she's concerned about taking time off. That was all I was going to talk about surgery in the grand scheme of things. So I understand this concern with taking time off. It's very, very common in the transgender community because most of us tend to be people pleasers. I mean, I'm saying that completely, with no irony whatsoever. We tend to be people pleasers in part because it's a way not to get beaten up, for who we really are. We were talking about masking earlier on in the stream, and it's like, It is partly what we do. Is this Ariandria? Ooh, Ariandria, hi. Oh, and thank you for the gifts. I think it's super duper. It's very common because we're people pleasers for the sake of just not getting hurt. And this ends up applying all the way into our adults' professional lives. That's what happened to me. Oh, Margie's going now. Good to see you. Good luck at your appointments. I'd love to hear some details later on. Oh, Ariandria called me a beautiful person, and I'm having I think the live's going okay. I think it's going better than it could. So anyway, this applies all the way into our adult professional lives. It definitely did for me. I was, executive management, and I'm trying to people please with C-suite type tech bros. And one of the ways that exhibits, the way it presents, is we get the sense that if we take time off, if we prioritize ourselves at all, then we're going to be letting people down. And that characterizes pretty much my entire 25-year career in technology. Yeah, it was pretty awful. Anyway, here's the thing. Here's what I told the client. Sorry, I was trying to figure out how much I wanted to say about my own experience there. This is what I told the client. This is not like going off to Jamaica to lie on the beach and drink daiquiris for 2 months. It's not. This is medical treatment. And this is medical treatment that is equivalent to any other. Like giving birth. Although for what it's worth, I saw statistics. The US really provides extremely poorly for maternity leave. Other countries, I want to say it was Sweden, gives you more than like a year off. Other countries will give you some, months. And like the US is like, well, we might give you 4 weeks. Is that enough to recover from giving birth? I don't know. Anyway, I told this client, imagine if you had gotten a knee replacement, if you were getting cancer treatment, if you were getting basically any other surgery, you would feel that you would be justified in that, right? And she says, well, sure, because that's like a medical thing. But we have this sense that gender-affirming care, I'm just going to say gender-affirming care. I was going to say surgery, but we have this sense that gender-affirming care is different. That gender-affirming care is always elective, and it's not necessary. But I will remind everybody out there who's watching, there are statistics on the on suicide, the suicide rates, either ideation or attempts, and it is 2 orders of magnitude higher than the worst country on the planet, which is Greenland, by the way. Who would have known? 2 orders of magnitude higher, more than that technically. It's almost 20. This is about 15 times higher, 150 times higher than Greenland's rate. This is medical treatment. We don't do this for fun. We do this because ultimately it improves our quality of life. And isn't that what medical treatment's supposed to do? I mean, when the doctor says, take 2 of these and call me in the morning, he's saying, listen, it's going to make you feel better. I don't think they say that very often. But I am going to say this. If you are thinking about getting gender-affirming surgery, and if you are thinking, wow, it's going to be really hard to get this time off and to do whatever, blah, 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 take the time you need. Take it. If you have vacation at work, you've earned that. It's yours. It is a benefit. All right? This is, I mentioned I had been in management. This is standard HR policy. It has nothing to do with being transgender. It has nothing, to do with anything that you're trying to do. This is standard HR policy. But also, here's the other thing, because Pink Panther MIA 1717 even brings it up. Their underpants are haunted, and it's creeping out their family. So here we go. Think about how long you've suffered. Think about that. It may have been decades that you have felt awful about who you are and how you present and how you interact with the rest of the world. It may have been decades. You fully deserve the comparatively short time necessary to recover and feel the best that you do. Take the time you need, because ultimately you will return better. You'll be happier. And guess what? You're going to perform better for the company. And you can take this from somebody who's been a manager. That's something we think about when you have if you have a direct report who's burned out. It is absolutely your job to make that person feel less burned out. They will recover and they will do better for the company. We perform worse when we get burned out. And the transgender community in particular tends to have that, that's a trend for us. We're people pleasers and we'll work ourselves into the ground. Melissa, I'm curious if that tracks with your experience. I seem to remember it's your partner who's transitioning. Remind me if that's true, but I'm curious if you've seen that in your partner. So anyway, take the time you need. Those were my tidbits. I'm kind of surprised that stretched out to 51 minutes for what it's worth. Isn't that crazy? So let me check this out. So Margie left a comment just before she took off. I was going to read it before she left, and I was like, 5 lines from the bottom. So here's a factoid. It's a factoid. Fatboy Slim, whose name is actually Norman Cook. It's funny because I have seen that name and I'm like, Fatboy Slim? Like I just wouldn't take that. But if my name were Norman Cook, I mean, I might consider it. Just saying. Anyway, Fatboy Slim used to be a very different band. Wait a minute, that was the House Martins? Oh my gosh. I wish I'd seen this because I would have said something. That was the House Martins. I had a Swedish friend as an undergraduate named Jakob. We also called him Jake, which was sort of fun. Who loved the House Martins, had like everything by the House Martins. I had no idea that was Fatboy Slim. How crazy. That's really strange. Anyway, she also goes on to say that the other members of the band went on to be the Beautiful South, which are infinitely more similar. I don't know the Beautiful South. I don't know. So maybe I should have read this before Margie left, but it didn't. So there you go. All right, what do we have to talk about here? I'm going to take a break in a little bit. Oh, Jewish Epstein, you're back. Do you want to go ahead and drop the question in the comments there? Because it turns out I have about 5 minutes, and then I was going to take a break. So if you want to drop it in the comments there, then it would be cool. And I'll go ahead and answer what I can. In the meantime, I will remind everybody I'm Dr. Amethysta Herrick. I am not only a molecular biologist, but also an analytical chemist, and I talk about gender and identity from a scientific standpoint. And my Tuesday shows are generally little just goofy tidbits here. So I don't have like any absolutely obvious things to say today, but here we are. So Jewish Epstein has said he was wondering where's the hose at. I don't know why you would come here for that, but if you think that I'm the kind of person who's gonna attract all of them so that you can hit on them, thanks. Maybe that's a compliment. I'm really unsure. So yeah, there you go. All right, so I think as long as I don't have any comments sitting, I am going to take a quick break. I will come back. It's probably going to be something like 3 minutes. When I put up the countdown, it's going to say 5. But basically, all I'm going to do is get up and walk around for a couple of minutes, and I'll come back. I would really love to talk about, we talked about movies at one point, and that was kind of fun. I am, however, yeah, I think a lot of us know here. I am a musician, so I've played the guitar for a long time. Who cares? And I would love to talk about our favorite songs, like why they mean something to us, and you know what they mean, what they meant then and what they mean now, and if it's grown. And so I want to talk a little bit about that. That's so totally off the cuff. I'm not going to kid you. Like, I've written no notes. I'm almost, it sort of popped out of my head. I'm like, well, I was going to talk about movies, but I'm like, I'd rather talk about music, especially since we just talked about Fatboy Slim, the House Martins, and the Beautiful South. So I'm going to take me a little bit of a break here, and I will be back, and we'll talk about songs. Okay? It'll be fun. I swear. Drop your favorite songs in the comments. All right, I came back. Turns out it wasn't 2 minutes early, it was only 40 seconds, but here I am. So once again, I will say I'm Dr. Amethysta Herrick. I'm here. I was talking about authentic expression before, during, and after transition, and now I'm just here sort of to prattle. So let's make some goofy comments down there for for me to riff on and everything, and hopefully it'll be fun. I do want to bring up the topic. I have no notes on this, okay, so I'm flying by the seat of my panties. That was good enough. I did want to talk about music, because I am a musician. I've played guitar for a long time, and so I got a guitar when I was 17, I believe, and there have been some songs that have really touched me, in my life. Some of them touched me differently then than they do now. There have been some changes, especially since I transitioned gender. So let's talk a little bit about that. I got to bring the comments back. Sorry. All right, so this is interesting. So Anita says that they learned classical piano, and they love classical music and jazz. So it's and then they get annoyed that most music organizing software counts everything as a song. Yeah, it is. When you have like a symphony, right? It's like a 4 parts or something. You're like, well, I don't, don't shuffle that, right? You'll get you'll get a music player that goes, oh, we're going to shuffle, Haydn's 101st. And you go, that really screwed with it. All right, here we go. Hi, Erica. First of all, I didn't know you were there. Hi, Erica. Erica says, music she can get into. Can we talk about being a kid in the 70s hearing Lola by the Kinks? Yeah. I gotta admit, I think I've heard that song probably no more than 10 times in my life. I don't know. Maybe it was just me. But wait, this is interesting. So you said you heard Lola for the first time and found it cool rather than repulsed. Are most people repulsed by it? Actually, I gotta tell you, I'm probably more familiar. Didn't Al Yankovic do a parody on that? Like about, I think it was Yoda. But anyway, I don't know why anybody would be repulsed by Lola. Although I have, and I don't know why this has been coming up on my Google feed. But what's his name? Was it Steve Davies, something? The guitarist for the Kinks. Eddie Van. Maybe we just came up on the anniversary of Eddie Van Halen's death. I'm unsure, but I got a bunch of things on my Google feed from I think Dave Davies is his name, where he said, you know what, we really didn't like the Van Halen version of "You Really Got Me." We thought it was supposed to be rough, and it was supposed to be raw, and it was supposed to be awful. And then they went and smoothed it out, and it was really kind of crap. And I was like, I mean, okay. I mean, I get that, right? So, like if somebody redoes like a Tom Waits song or something, right? It's probably going to be smoother. Just saying. And I don't know. But sometimes that's cool, isn't it? I don't know. I wouldn't have dumped on him, but that's me. So I want to hear more, Eric. There's a lyric. Oh, okay. I didn't realize this. There's a lyric in Lola about kissing a man. I had no idea. Apparently, I need to go. I need to go and look at this, and I will. Let me see. So Patty brings up Holly Herndon Frontier. Wow. Okay, hang on. So it's a cross between sacred harp music and electronica. Now I'm going to have to go and look Holly Herndon up. You can't see it, but I actually have a lever harp sitting in the corner. I pull it out once every well, not frequently anyway, not frequently enough. I took it out of the case because I'm like, I'm going to stick it right there, and that way every time I look at it, I'll go, I better pick that up and pluck a few strings. I'm not great on it. I did actually record a harp part in one of the songs that I've published. There's a little harp part. It's not much, but anyway, the thing is that now at this point I've got my little. Do you remember the witch hat, the purple witch hat? My purple witch hat is actually just hanging, is hanging on the harp. I may just go and get that witch hat. Yeah, stand by 10 seconds. Hang on. Here we go. Oh, this is a great hat. And this reminds me too, Spirit's probably open pretty soon. So now we can all go and buy weird Halloween stuff, right? All right, here we go. Oh yeah. I may put the veil up just to, I don't know how can you do, does that work? Not really. All right, I will put the veil back down just because but it's got like little spiders and things on it. That's crazy. That looks like a spider is really on my face, and I'm kind of getting creeped out. Oh my god, that's a real spider! No, I was kidding. Hey, Frybird. Frybird showed up. That's fun. It's getting caught on my microphone, too. Anyway, there you go. Right? So, sacred harp music. Okay, so hang on. Sacred heart. Oh. This whole time okay, no, so sacred harp is different from harp music, but Patty loves harp music too. Joanna Newsom. So, I don't know if you know Rachel Hare. I love her. She's good. Granier. I can't think of Granier's last name. There are a few harpists I can think of that I'm like, hey, it's really good. There was a Mexican guy. What was the Mexican guy's name? He's super good. I would have to look these people up, but anyway. Frybird says my hat looks good with my hair. I think this is the greatest hat. I tried to wear it when I went for a walk and it kept blowing off, because maybe I needed a little chin strap. But all right, so Saoirse brought up, anytime I have a plosive, Saoirse brought up that recently read a new written piece using both sides now by Joni Mitchell to discuss their transgender experience. Oh my gosh. Ooh, that's pretty cool. I had not thought... So many spider-looking things on my face. I had not thought of that, but that is really cool. Because Saoirse says she used it too in an entirely different way to describe her experience. That really is... I gotta tell you, it wouldn't have occurred to me. There's another song that did that to me, but... I'll get to it, but yeah, that is pretty cool. Saoirse also brings up the point that, Frybird did not say it looks good with my hair. I'm sorry, that was Melissa. My apologies, Melissa. Saoirse also brings up, isn't it interesting how dissimilar we can be and still be transgender together? Yeah, I mean, isn't that sort of the human experience there, right? I keep creeping myself out when I see a spider on my head, so I'm actually going to lift this up. It still feels kind of fun. It's still fun. Well, that's good enough. So one of the songs that so goofy. There are two pieces of music that really always hit me, and I mean I have probably heard both pieces. I'm not even gonna come up with a number, but they are both in the key of D. Somewhat interesting. Frybird says she loves the Witchathista. That's what it is. Thank you for the gift, by the way. So the first piece of music is Tchaikovsky's Violin Concerto in D, which says it right there, right? I mean, there's a hint for you right there. Violin Concerto in D. I actually heard that. Gosh, I don't remember. It's probably like 2005, 2006. I was like, "Ooh, I'm going to get into classical music." And I was listening to this classical station, and I don't know, the guy, so the DJ, whom I hated, unfortunately, I just couldn't stand this one DJ. Can you call him DJ on a classical station? I'm not, it just doesn't feel right. Just feel. Anyway, here's the thing. CJ, who knows? Anyway, the point was, the guy says, you be the 10th caller to call in and you can get 2 tickets to this, A Night with Tchaikovsky. And somehow it corresponded with July 4th, I seem to remember. Anyway, the point is, I'm like, I'm stuck in traffic, pulled out my cell phone, I go, doot, 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 doot. Caller number 10. And I had to talk to the DJ, too. I'm like, oh, it's you. Yeah, thanks for, the tickets, man, but, okay. Anyway, I gotta go. Okay, yeah, you can take pass me off to somebody else. So 2 tickets to A Night with Tchaikovsky, I believe it was called. And, of course, at the end of it, they did the big, the cannon bang thing, right? That every person on the planet goes, oh, stop the cannons. Please stop the cannons. It was the 1812 Overture. There we go. It's like 2 songs that everybody goes, no, stop the cannons. One of them is that AC/DC song. This is for those about to rock or something. Saoirse's going to know. Saoirse or Erica. One of those 2 is going to know. Anyway, here, and then the 1812 Overture. Anyway, the point here is I heard the Violin Concerto in D, and I was like, wow, it is so much fun. So that's one of them. That's 2 fingers, I know. But hey, Matt. Now Matt Adland is here. Good to see you. So that is one of my very, very favorite, pieces of music. So remove. Oh, what a shame. So let's see. I'm going to put you in timeout too, just because you're a jerk. So here we go. So that was one of the pieces of music in D. The other one is White Room by Cream. I don't know if anybody even remembers that one, but the that song, it's got this descending bass line. So it's in D. It's got this descending bass line that starts with it uses the D chord and then descends using a different bass note for all the chords. I don't have to do like a whole, oh dang, actually Forever Green just showed up, which means if I talk about music at all in real music terms, she's going to correct me. So do you like the hat? It's really just the hat. I was talking about my harp on the other side of the room, and I said, at this point, all it does is hold my hat. So I was like, let me go pull the hat out. It's got a cool veil, too. Right? The only thing is that it's got, the veil has little fake spiders on it. And anytime I turned my head, I was like, oh. So I put it back. You promise you won't correct me? So it's a D chord that has a descending bass note, and it's super duper cool. I don't know why that descending bass always does it, but I've written I have a few songs that have just that regular descending bass line that is very, very simple, but something that just makes me go, I don't know, it always hits me. And there is the wah pedal. Eric Clapton's kind of a strange feller right now. I'm going to leave it at that. Bit of a strange feller today, but it was one of the very first uses of a wah pedal in music. And oh my gosh, I don't know. The first time I heard that, obviously I didn't hear that when it came out, because I think it was 1966 or 1967, and I was years away from being born. Not many years, but years, right? Multiple. Anyway, it just hits me every single time. And there is a little part of me, Forever Green might like this, there's a little part of me that every time, so, when I'm going to play some guitar, I like to play along with other things. And I've done this the whole time I've played guitar. It used to be I blasted in through speakers, and now I generally put headphones on. I mean, I live in a house. You'd think actually I should blast it, but I put headphones on and play along with the music. But I have this desire. One of these days, I am going to record White Room, but from the woman's point of view. Because if you haven't heard this song, it's kind of vague. But the point is that there's supposed to be a girl. Who it seems like what they do is boink in a room that's got white walls. If I understand the whole purpose of the song, some guy was like, and it wasn't even Jack Bruce. It was like a friend of Jack Bruce's, and he took those lyrics and stuck them into White Room. But apparently this guy had boinked a girl. It was walls that were white, and so here we go. All right. But I really, really want to take this song and, rather than having it come from the person's point of view, from the man's point of view, have it come from the woman's point of view. And so I mean to do this one of these days. And, who knows, maybe now that I've actually said something in like a live, somebody will hold me to it. But anyway, that is one of my absolute favorite songs. Absolute favorite songs. The one that, so Saoirse brought up that Both Sides Now by Joni Mitchell, that she used it in an entirely different way to describe her transgender experience. There was another, oh, hey, Layla. I hope I'm saying your name right. Good to see you. Look at that. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I've missed comments. Holy cats. I'm sorry, people. I didn't realize that. Oh, by the way, it turns out, so Sacred Heart music is an Appalachian traditional music. I had no idea. Oh, by the way, Saoirse, Forever Green has been working on learning Both Sides Now. So there you go. Oh, good, I said Layla correctly, too. So it's Appalachian traditional music where people would gather in a church and sing a cappella for hours or even days. All right, so this is actually like an ecstatic practice even. That's pretty cool. Anita even brings up that when they sang Both Sides Now in church a while ago, the transgender angle occurred to them. I gotta tell you, I guess I should read. I don't remember the song very well because it was folk music, and my mother was much more of like an ABBA fan. Which, by the way, another one that I'd love to do a cover of is "Gimme Gimme Gimme." It was not something I ever would have done. Presenting masculine, but now I'm kind of like, yeah, there's not a soul out there. Anyway, no one to hear my prayer. Okay, I'm gonna cut it, sorry. Matt has now said, note to self, pester Amy until she writes the song. Right? Forever Green saying, yeah, redo Gimme Gimme Gimme? It might be fun. You know what I never understood? I'm trying to remember who it is. I think it's Anna Fried who sings the that little bridge bit there with a sustained voice. Even at the end of it, so they've had the breakdown. They had the funky bass, right? Everybody's rocking out, and then she comes in and it sounds very, almost like timid, right? There's not a soul out there, and you go, oh, are we going to get back into this? What the? I always expected her to go up on that. She sustains that same note just to go into the chorus. And I was, it's like, it should really, go up, Anyway, that's me. And Anna Fried, if you're out there listening, and I'm sure you are, let's just say I still love you, okay? It's totally cool. Matt has said he would have done a metal cover of Pink Pony Club if others hadn't beaten him to it. I got to tell you, that would be so awesome. You send me, somehow get me a link. Oh, we're on Discord, aren't we? I would love to see that or hear that, whatever. A metal version of Pink Pony Club. That is such a great song. Oh my gosh. The first time I heard that, I cried in my car for like 5 minutes. Anyway, regarding my transgender experience, because let's do that. There is a song by Adele. It's the last song on 25. Sweetest Devotion. That's what it's called. It took me a second to get the title out. There's a break in the middle I will end up crying here, so, bear with me just a titch. But there's a part in the middle where she says, you're the right kind of madness. I'm trying to remember all of that. You're my hope, you're my despair. I'm trying to remember lyrics. It's hard to do it when you're just trying to pull it out, right there. But I'm really failing on that. Anyway, you're the right kind of madness. When I was, presenting masculine, I just thought of that. It was just like, oh yeah, right kind of madness, right? It had to do with just me. I've had mental health issues. I'm open about that. Everybody knows. But when once I transitioned, and in particular when I had done some voice training and really built up like muscles, around my larynx, so that I could hit some of these notes when I was driving along, because I'm always going to sing in the car. Anyway, it changed because I'm like, but I've never been mad. This has always just been who I am. And so the right kind of madness, went from being, okay, this is a confession of my absolutely horrible mental health. And then it turned into like an affirmation. And anyway, I feel like that story was going to be a bit more poignant, and hopefully I did it justice. But that's another one. Every time I sing that, I end up crying in the middle. Yeah, I'm singing the bridge, and I'm just like, whoops, nope, fell apart. I don't know how she could do it live. I don't know how she ever recorded it personally, but... Okay, so Matt also has a metal version of the Rubber Ducky song from Sesame Street. I think that's worth posting too. I mean, I think that's definitely worth well, we ought to drop a beat here, but... All right, let me see. So Erica does confirm, it was for those about to rock, we salute you. Thank you. I knew you would be you would be the one. Let's see. Anita says their main musical activity now is choir singing. That's amazing. Choir singing. I have a book somewhere. I'm not really sure what... Oh, I think that's it. Anyway, I have a book written by people who, like musical, like professors, music professors, and it's all about how to get a choir to sound in tune with each other. It's really strange, because it's not easy. And so now I'm going to go on with the rest of what Anita says. There's research saying that choir is the music that elicits the strongest emotions. I think I could believe that, because it's all the human voice, right? So it's all the frequencies that we're used to making as well. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. This is the strongest emotions. Oh, Matt, it's on your TikTok, Rubber Ducky? All right, I'm going to have to see it. Oh, look. Forever Green says she actually has choir rehearsal in a little bit. How many people in that choir? By the way, before I go on any further, so it's Forever Green, let me remember, is Forever Green 33? No, way the hell off. Forever Green 1989, which is of course when her mother was born. Okay, 1989. Probably not. Anyway, she is a musician, a really phenomenal pianist. There are things that I've heard you do that I'm like, zoiks. Anyway, if you're on, I think you're on a few. There are 25 of you called Forever Green. Okay, if you are on, I know that she's on both TikTok and YouTube, and I highly recommend going and subscribing to Forever Green 1989 1989. Yeah, so TikTok and YouTube. Totally go and check her out because her music's great. She's really a phenomenal musician. And I got to tell you, too, there are times when you've explained something that I'm like, I think it takes a musician to understand. And I go, that ain't me, I see. That's a bummer. So, what else do we have? Oh, so this is sort of funny. Anita brings up, Pester Amy. I wondered why we were talking about pastrami. Funny you should bring that up. I was saying this to Margie earlier. Today is day 5 of a fast. So the last time I ate was Thursday night. It was probably more like Thursday for lunch or something. Maybe I ate dinner on Thursday night. I don't know, because last week I was all depressed. So I'm not. Maybe I ate. Maybe I didn't. But I'm on day 5 of a fast that I'm hoping maybe I'll pull off. Maybe I'm going to pull off 7 days. Who knows? Oh my gosh! 1 second here too. And do you know what? That's enough. I'm on a fast. It's 5 days. I'm hungry. You brought up pastrami, and now I'm like, somebody who just showed up here, Horror Queen 331. This is my friend Aisha, and we recorded a podcast on Monday. Aisha, I've got I have an article that's rolling around in my head. Having trouble just saying that. Rolling around in my head that I'm like, it's a follow up on something that we talked about on Monday, and I'm like, gosh, do I want to write this and send it to you, or do I want to publish this, or do I want to go, hey, can we like follow up on some of these threads that were sort of hanging? And anyway, we talked about Hellraiser. I don't know if anybody here likes horror at all. I used to be a big horror fan. Sort of fell out of it as I've gotten a little bit older, especially when I had children. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Horror Queen 331 is Ashley. It's my hairdresser. I'm sorry, babe. I love you too. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, Ashley. Well, here's the point. I still have this article rolling around in my head. I'm trying to backpedal enough and figure out like where I can come back in, and I don't really know. But anyway, it was a phenomenal conversation. But you'll like this. I'll talk to you about Hellraiser, the thing, next time I see you, and I see you in like a couple of weeks. So it'll be sweet, but I'll tell you. Anyway, let me go back to let me get some comments, especially after I've looked like a goof. So Erica says when she came home from the hospital 6 months ago from her bottom surgery, she played a couple of songs that made her cry. One was Wildflowers by Tom Petty. Well, yeah. The other one was Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin. Oh, wait a minute. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's funny because I was like, Stairway to Heaven? Meh. But I guess I can see that because Erica brings up it was strange hearing those lyrics through that post-surgical point of view. Ooh, I believe that. That's crazy. I didn't think about that. I may have to go back to that. I used to be able to play that, because it was like the law. In the 80s, you get a guitar. You get, transcription. What was it called? Tablature transcription of Stairway to Heaven. I don't think I could play it now to save my life, but that's fine. I will have to listen to that. So Anita Lichtenberg brings up that they're singing bass in choir. That's pretty cool. So they're singing bass, but femme presenting, and I gotta imagine, as she says, it's a special experience for a lot of the 40 members in choir. They're probably the one transgender they know a little. A transgender person they know a little. This is the same choir that I've heard about. It must be the same choir. 40 members, because it's, Anita, remind me, it's like a specifically queer type choir, right? I mean, or neurodiverse maybe, like, help me out on this. I want to say that there's a theme to it, and 40 members of it sounds like it must be a phenomenal experience. I mean, I gotta imagine, yeah, when you're standing in the middle of it singing, holy cats. That would be quite an experience. So, at least Ashley likes Hellraiser. That's good. Songs. What were the other songs that I was thinking about? So talked about the Adele one. Talked about White Room, because you need to. Tchaikovsky's Violin Concerto in D. That choir is not themed, Anita says. Okay. Oh, gosh, you know what? Hang on. I'm thinking about somebody that I talked to So somebody that I talked to like a year and a half ago, I'm so sorry, you're right. Not only do I not know my own hairdresser, I don't know people I spoke to a year and a half ago. I feel like I should take another break or something. I don't know. Other songs that hit me though, Pink Pony Club. I can make it through that one without crying, which is good. Because like originally it was not easy. Here's another one. Oh, I'm just gonna bring this one up. Every transgender woman every transgender woman in the audience right now is gonna go, yeah, yeah, that one. Beautiful by Christina Aguilera. Right? That's the S rank. The S rank. If you can make it through that as a transgender woman without crying, you're doing pretty amazing. Oh, by the way, yeah, Forever Green says beautiful purple. I don't know if you were saying that to Ashley or to me, because it's Ashley who does this, right? It just struck me, that connection there. Anyway, every time I sing along with that, I don't make it through the whole thing. It is, of course, challenging to keep up with Xtina, but I do at least try to. I do at least like to try. Anyway, beautiful. That's one that I just cannot make it through because it's just too amazing. Just too amazing. Although, interestingly, Genie in a Bottle as well. Like, yeah, I don't know why that one really kind of gets me, but it does. And as long as we're on Xtina, the other song that I really truly love by her is Fighter. I actually quoted lyrics from Fighter in an article I wrote, I don't know, 2.5 years ago. That was a really phenomenal song. Oh, here we go. Oh, I've got to throw out, what about Lady Gaga, right? You know, we've got Born This Way, obviously, very obviously. But then also, of course, I'm not going to get the title. How? Oh my gosh, what the hell is that song? Anyway, it's just a piano. It sort of sounds like a Queen song a little bit. Oh my gosh, this is going to kill me. I'm going to look it up really fast because I need to. But I love to sing along with that one. And it tends to make me cry. I also quoted those lyrics in an article I wrote because it seemed like it described me so much. If you know this song, it was actually her father was, I think, an alcoholic, and she was watching him sort of slowly kill himself. And her song was kind of like, listen, pull yourself together. Ella is here. Hello, Ella. Also, Abyss says she loves my hat. They love my hat. I don't know. I'm not going to guess pronouns. While I am looking this up, so let me see. Anita says, also, the one song in church that makes them cry is Blue Boat Home, because the words neither harbor nor port have I known. Ooh. Yeah. I can see that. I can totally see that. All right. I'm almost there, I swear. Let me see. It's on the Fame Monster. I know it's on the Fame Monster. And it is... Where's the songs on it? Are they going to tell me release and artwork? Come on, promotion, singles. Oh, thank you. So Ella is trans femme, goes by she, her. Thank you for letting me know. Speechless. There we go. I would never have come up with that. Speechless. I think that is a phenomenal song. And anytime I get a chance, so my family may or may not know this, but I will crank that one way up, way up and scream along with it. Because that's what I sound like relative to Lady Gaga. Because it's just that good. So I don't know if you know that song, but that one's great. That one, in the middle of it, it says, I know it's complicated, but I'm a loser at love. So baby, raise a glass. Gonna lose it. Raise a glass to mend all the broken hearts of all my messed up. Nope, didn't do it. Raise a glass to mend all the hearts, Jesus, to mend the hearts of all my messed up friends. And I guess I'll take a drink. Give me a sec. I always think, I guess, of all of my, all of my, my transgender sisters when I sing along with that song, and that's So there you go. Sorry for losing it for a second there, but I should have known if I was going to quote anything. It was going to be the end of me. So Helen Taylor asks me, what about Tori Amos? So Helen goes on to say that she remembers her being a big gay icon, but she was deep in the closet, so she can't recall if any of her work resonated with a trans experience. I think that there are some. I definitely, there's, I think Bliss sort of does that. Was it Raspberry Swirl? There's Leather. There are a few. I happen to like Tori Amos largely because she has those songs that tend to sort of, she has lyrics that dump on the Christian community, and that sort of gets me, I kind of crack up about that. That's just me, there's God, of course, do you need a woman to look after you? God, sometimes you don't come through. And then there's also, if the divine master plan is perfection, maybe next time I'll give Judas a try. Love that so much. It kills me. All right, Ashley, you out of here? I'm glad that you showed up. Thank you so much. Anyway, all right, so here we go. Let me see, what else do we have? So Erica brings up, forgot to mention Cherry Lips. Yeah, by Garbage. Yeah. I really don't remember the song Do You Know What It Feels Like for a Girl by Madonna. I really liked Madonna. Ashley, thank you for calling me beautiful, by the way. I really only liked Madonna like really, really early on, like the Lucky Star, album, whatever that one was called. It was like in the 80s when I felt, because it kind of feels sort of like with Star Trek too. Star Trek, like the 1960s one with William Shatner completely overacting everything, and there was always a red shirt who's falls off a cliff or something like that, and Kirk is always like, all right, well, we must go on because there's bound to be girls up there, so let's head off. The thing is that once it started becoming serious, I went, it's less fun to me. And it was sort of the same with Madonna. It was like, listen, it was great when you had like party music. And I cannot tell you how many times I danced along with, to Vogue, like just over and over and over, right? Because that's just what you do. And that was also my, my era. So anyway, point here. So Madonna, thank you. There we go. Crucify is another one. So, oh gosh, Anita says Crucify is the theme song of their divorce. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that one a lot, right? Every finger in the room's pointed at me. That one really gets me too. It's not as a divorce song, but I think that also really sort of brings up a lot of the transgender experience, that we do feel that everybody is, everything, every day we crucify ourselves. Nothing we do is good enough for the rest of the world. And our hearts are sick of being in chains. Anyway, Ella says she started HRT in December when she was 41. Oh, sister. In December? Oh, I'm so happy for you. So happy for you. So you're 8 months in. Oh my gosh, I've got to hear more about this. Forever Green's off to choir rehearsal. Thank you for showing up. Good to see you as well, so much. Erica says it's on the Ray of Light album. Okay, I kind of remember. that. There you go. Ella confirms, yeah, great album. Why did Queen speak to you, Ella? I'm kind of curious because Queen always seemed to me like I always feel like Queen was a bunch of like they were sort of parodying. I kind of felt like it was a parody of the gay community, and what's crazy is that it totally wasn't, right? I mean, like that was the gay community, and that's great. And I guess I don't know, looking back, I don't know, it just felt like it was somewhat of a parody, and that bugs me. It's kind of why I can't look at. It's kind of why I don't really care for drag shows now, because I feel like it's kind of a parody. It's become a parody of femininity, not. And I'm sure drag performers will go, no, except they probably go, no, sister, which would be great because hey, here I am. But I feel sort of the same that it's a little almost a parody of the things that I hold kind of dear, and so there you go. So Ella says she is now 8 months in and happier than she's ever been. Fuck yeah, right? Within 8 months, absolutely you are. Ooh, hey, Wabajack just joined. I vaguely remember you. Mostly I remember your name. So Ella says she came out as pan before she knew she was transgender. Ooh, crazy. It's funny. That was when I said, oh my gosh, I like both men and women. Was sort of like almost a catalyst that made me go, oh, well, that must be because I am both woman and man. So I don't know. It's fascinating. I mean, maybe that was a bridge for you as well. For me, it was really super quick. But anyway, Ella says that mainly Freddie's life spoke to her more than the band. Okay, I hear you. I get that, yeah. Oh, Jesse's here too. Hey, Jesse. Look, all these people. All these people I know. What other songs? Oh yeah, okay. So Ella says she knew she was bi back in. I don't know if she means her teens or back at 10. Oh, in the 20s. Sorry, in her 20s. Yeah, I mean, I think I recognized it because I can remember sitting. It's so weird. I have this one scene that I can remember sitting on a bus. Right, I'm getting ready to go home from like high school, maybe in 10th grade. What are you, 14, 15 years old there? And I'm watching this one kid. I don't even know who the hell the guy was. Like at this point, I don't even know. It's just some dude. But I saw this dude coming on the bus, and I don't know. I'm sitting in a rear seat. Apparently, doesn't make a difference. But he's walking toward me, and I was like, "Oh, not supposed to do that." Anyway, it was about that time that I'm like, what's going on there? That's odd. But it did take until my 20s before I would admit it. And so I hear you, Ella. I mean, it was funny. Those two like assertions though. So that I was bisexual. Now I use the term pansexual, of course. But they came right on right after another. Or I just said, oh hey, I'm pansexual. Oh hey, and I'm transgender. Of course I didn't have a word. So I mean, so Ella, at the very worst, or the very least, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Waiting 20 years at least gave you the word, right? Because for me, this was 1994, I think. 1994, maybe 1995. And I was just like, I don't know what the hell, I don't know what the word is for that. So, but Ella says she always wore women's clothing under her clothes since she was a teenager. Wow. Okay. I don't know if I ever did. I don't know if I ever did. But she had no idea that HRT existed. You're right. There wasn't a lot of information like, when we were younger. If there were, what's crazy though is I actually knew somebody who was transitioning, and and I always thought I knew by, early 80s, I'm like, I'm going to transition someday. But it's funny, when I met this person who was transitioning, it didn't strike me that maybe I could do that too. And this was in Georgia, and this poor girl, oh my gosh. She was so, so cute. Kind of remember, I don't know if Miss Chief is still here. When I first met Miss Chief, though, I went, oh my gosh, it was like that. It was like that girl that I knew back in grad school. She was super cute, and I think was just so much of a target. And it's possibly just because it was Georgia in the 90s, but small town Georgia in the 90s. But anyway, there you go. But she was super cute, like you are, Miss Chief, if you're still here. Patty G says, when Drake said, I'm a lesbian too, it really spoke to her, even though it's kind of cringe coming from him. Oh, it's cringe coming from Drake, yeah. Because wouldn't a cisgender heterosexual man be a lesbian? Like, isn't that, like, I don't know if lesbian necessarily implies gender. I don't know. I've always kind of wondered about that. But so Helen Taylor, yes. The name that I'm saying is Miss Chief. There she is. Right on time. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, she's a crack up. I haven't talked to you in a long time, sister. We gotta catch up. But okay, Anita brings up a story. Once in high school, when they were asked, are you gay? They answered, no, I'm lesbian. So it got them a good laugh, but also knew it wasn't really a joke. It's a good point. When I loved Halloween, right? Because on Halloween, it's that one time you can dress up as a girl and nobody cares, right? Nobody gives a crap. Anyway, so I would do that a lot. And well, I mean, once a year, I suppose. So it's hard to it's hard to do it a lot when Halloween, it's only on Halloween. But that was something too that now I knew very well that wasn't a joke. It wasn't a costume, right? Somewhat like you, Anita. It's like you knew that wasn't a joke, but and it was the same. So people go, oh my gosh. And anytime somebody would go, hey, you look pretty good as a girl. You got that long, blonde hair. I'd be like, very true. Yeah, very true. So true. Anyway, so Ella says, first of all, let me just say I'm totally honored by this. Ella says she's been here 12 minutes and she already loves it. There are some really fun people who show up here. We have some really odd people, Anita and Margie are some wacky people. Patty is great people, though. I'm loving Patty. She seems kind of new, or at least started talking more recently. So there are some really great people. So yeah, Miss Chief. So are you still badly off? I'm sorry. So yeah, the immunotherapy. I'm sorry. I've been wanting to reach out. So here we go. There's a true confession. Okay, as my true confession. I mentioned earlier that the transgender community tends to be people pleasers, right? I also tend to believe that if I don't hear from somebody from a while, they're angry at me. And so I was thinking that more than anything, Chiefy, is that rather than, I've wanted to reach out, but I kind of wondered if you would go, you know what, actually, can you just piss off? And so I've been a little bit worried about that. I've been wondering about you, but I've been worried too worried to reach out to you. That's the thing. So true confessions there. All right, what else do we have? So Patty says it's definitely been easier to admit I feel like a lesbian than I actually want to transition. Oh, fascinating. Huh. I have to think on that one. That's cool. That's kind of neat. Patty says she's still in the closet, but has her second gender clinic appointment October 1st. Ooh, dang, so coming up. That's awesome. I don't know what happens at the second appointment. Because, at least for me, between the two gender clinic appointments, the first one was, well, what do you want to do? And I go, I think I want to transition gender. And they said, okay, we're going to take some blood, and we're going to do some analysis and everything, and then we'll talk a few weeks later, whatever. And so my second appointment was basically, she was like, so okay, I'm ready to write you a prescription. And I was like, okay. So hopefully it will be the same for you, Patty, because that will be so great. So here we go. Yeah, Ella's saying, think second appointment, they'll usually start HRT. So, Ella, are you in the US or in the UK? I mean, it'd be pretty late in the UK. What is it? 1 in the morning there? 2? Oh, almost 2. Ouch. Yeah, if the blood work comes up normal. So, Miss Chief, you are not super odd. You are super awesome. I think you're super awesome. And I'm serious. The first time I met you, I was like, God, it reminds me of, what's her name? But anyway, do you know the first time I met her, I had gone to, this is the transgender woman I knew when I was, in my 20s in Georgia in graduate school. I went to a Rocky Horror Picture Show in Athens, Georgia. I believe literally they did it once. Might have been twice. I don't recall exactly. It didn't go over very well, but I could walk there, which was great because it meant that, well, first of all, I didn't have a car. There is that. But I would walk there, and I was all dressed up, having a good time. And, I'm saying all the words because, I've seen this about 100 billion times. Give or take 100 billion, but I've seen it a lot. So I'm talking along with it, and the people who put it on were like, oh my gosh, do you know this shit? And I'm like, yeah, I'm from Southern California. And they're like, oh, well, okay, no wonder. Anyway, here's the point. After the movie, if you just walked right down the hill, it was like the Alps Theater, I think it was called, the Alps Theater. If you walked down the hill there, I mean, it was maybe a couple 100 meters. It wasn't far. Anyway, if you walked down the hill there was an IHOP. And so it was 2 in the morning. Who knows what time it was. It was super late. And we go down to IHOP. And I'm probably buzzing with, ephedrine because I was sort of my substance of choice at the moment. And anyway, I met this person. And it was just like, I am so taken with you. And then at some point I was out, and I don't remember where I was, but it was it was just like a regular bar, just at some bar. And she comes up and she goes, oh, you, I remember you. And I looked at her and I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't remember you. And then I went, oh, and then she says, sure you do. God saves the queen. God save the queen at IHOP. And I went, oh my gosh. Anyway, then we used to hang out at the gay bar. That was the end of that story. I thought it was going to be a lot of fun too. It was okay. All right. So Patty says, oh, you need to get your blood work done still. Okay, so Patty's in the process of getting blood work done. But then, yeah, I hope you get a prescription, definitely. I think that would be awesome. Okay, Ella, you're in Montana. You're in Montana, are you? I hope you're safe. If you need something, reach out to me, will you? It's purpleparkland.com. You can reach out to me. All right, I am looking at the time here. I've got 6:52, which means that I'm really close to ending anyway. I was going to end at 7. I did not talk a lot last week, and so my voice is still a little bit rough, I think. So having now spoken for 2 hours after I recorded a podcast earlier today with my friend Anne, I don't know if anybody remembers Anne. She was on this live stream some weeks ago. Anyway, I'm a little tired. I didn't mention it's also day 5 of a fast, so I'm also hungry. But there you go. I'm going to read a couple of these comments, and then I'm going to say I am going to head out. So here we go. So Ella says in western Montana and the Missoula area, it's not as crazy red state as other places. Oh, right, it is a college town. Okay, good. Well, that was sort of like Athens in Georgia. So I get it. Yeah, I get it, because that was definitely different from say if you drove 20 minutes south. Whew, it was tough. So anyway, good. So I'm glad you're in a safe place. Patty says she's really hoping she can lower T levels enough through monotherapy, and Ella does bring up spironolactone works well. The everybody's biochemistry is so different. I mean, my testosterone plummeted with monotherapy, but my biochemistry is different from, other people's. So anyway, I also hope that you can do it with monotherapy, because I do know there are a lot of drawbacks to some of the anti-androgens. Jasmine Vine, has spoken on that several times. So maybe if you're looking for content on that, you might look up Jasmine. You're gonna have to put in Jasmine Vine trans, because if you just put in Jasmine Vine, it just brings up gardening, Jasmine Vines. So don't do that. All right, Erica, I was happy you contributed tonight too. I'm so glad to see you. Ella, as it turns out, my background started off as molecular biology, specifically genetics. And as a quick confession there, I wanted to go into genetics because I thought if I could modify my genes, my genetics, my genotype, I suppose I should say, maybe I could stop being treated, the way people were treating me. So I love talking about biology and sciencey stuff. So, all right. So I'm going to go 6:55. I'm going to take my hat off now. Oh my gosh, my hair looks awful. Maybe I should have left the hat on. Oh, and you can never. Oh, this is not working, because I can't figure which hand to go at it. So this is embarrassing. So I figure I may as well keep doing it, right? Good enough. Who cares? There you go. Oh my gosh, Helen, thank you so much. Helen says, every day I get to hear your voice is another day of transgender joy. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Ella, it's been phenomenal meeting you as well. So I want to say thank you to Forever Green, who is not here, and to my hairdresser, Ashley, and to Matt, and to Frybird, and to Ella, and to Helen, and Patty, and Erica, and Miss Chief, and everybody else, and Margie, and Anita. And I always try to call out every single person's name, and I never succeed. So, thank you again. I love doing these things. I love all of you. This is why I do these things. So, I will see you Sunday. I don't know what I'm going to talk about yet, but whatever I do, I hope you're going to be there, because it's going to be fun. Oh, Ella, good question. So Ella asks, what time do I usually stream? My typical schedule is 2 p.m. on Sundays, and then 5 p.m. on Tuesdays. That's my typical schedule. Other times in between, I'm usually recording podcasts. I tend to release podcasts on Friday, so that's kind of fun. On Fridays, I generally do a Transgender Joy video. That's where I try to bring in joyous things from around the world, in the transgender community. So, Miss Chief, yeah, love you back. I think I missed you. Maybe I didn't, but all right, that's going to be it. I'm going offline. See you on Sunday. Talk soon. Bye.